Welcome, everyone. I am really excited for today's conversation. I'm talking to somebody who has been a hero and a mentor to me, someone who has walked me through so much of my own healing journey. And the person that made the nervous system really makes sense to me. You guys know this month we are all about the nervous system. And I think it's especially important for artists and creatives to really understand their nervous system. So before we get into that conversation, however, I wanted to let you guys know about a resource that I created to support you in understanding your own specific nervous system states. So if you heard my episode last week, I got into something called the autonomic ladder. The autonomic ladder was created by Deb Dana, and very basically, it just shows us, it looks like a ladder, and it basically shows us the 3 different states that you can be in based on how safe or in danger your body thinks that you are. So you can be in your ventral state of safety, you can be in your sympathetic state of fight or flight, or you can be in your shutdown state, your immobile state where depression and dissociation lives. Sarah's going to talk all about this. But what's really important to know about the nervous system is not only how it works, but how your specific nervous system expresses and presents, because my anxiety is going to look different than yours, and your depression, shutdown, apathy might look different than your siblings or your parents. It's especially important to understand who you are when you're not triggered as well, when you're in that ventral state. And so what I did was I created a resource that has 3 different meditations that are going to help you walk through kind of gently exploring what each state looks like. And there's also a downloadable PDF to accompany this that will ask you questions about what you learned in the meditation. And then it'll help you create your own nervous system map. This is something that you can refer to. You can hang somewhere where you can see it. And the thing about knowing your nervous system is that you're going to need different tools based on the different states that you might be in. So like if you find yourself really anxious or angry or you're panicked, you're going to need different cues of safety than if you find yourself in shutdown or apathy. So I've also included some resources for you to know some different things that you can do depending on what state you're in to bring you closer to regulation. So you can find the link for that in the show notes. It's called the Know Your Nervous System Guide. It's also in my link in my bio on Instagram if you follow me at Courtneyland. And I'm just so excited to be able to offer that. So now we're on to the episode. I hope you enjoy. This is season 4, and I am on a mission to help creatives become the most loved versions of themselves. I want to help you step into health in every single area of your life and pursue the authentic creative expression that you feel called to and that only you can. The world feels crazy right now, and we need healthy creatives more than ever. So let's get into it. I'm Courtney Lancaster, and this is the Heal Create Podcast. Welcome to another episode of the Heal Create Podcast. I am so excited for the guest that I have today. If you followed along with me at all, you will definitely know who she is, and you will know her impact in my life. And she's just such a gift to this generation and such a gift to me. I'm so excited to welcome Sarah Baldwin. Hi.
Hey, Courtney. Thank you so much for having me.
Of course.
Is such an honor that you asked me to come on, and I'm just so excited for the work you're doing in the world and for everyone listening that you are here with us today.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I am so thrilled that you're here. And I wanted to just say Sarah Baldwin is a somatic experiencing practitioner. We've talked a little bit about that on this podcast. She's an expert in the field of trauma resolution. She is a member of the world-renowned polyvagal theory training team. She trains clinicians around the world in nervous system interventions. And I had the privilege of working with Sarah over the course of 5 years in a one-on-one capacity. And that so much of who I am today comes from the work that we did. It's funny because right now I'm in we're doing a 9-month kind of a challenge adventure in my little community around becoming your most loved self, as opposed to your best self, which is a bit conditional and can kind of decrease our tolerance for imperfection. But your most loved self is such an elastic place to, pursue. So we're going through these different pillars of what it actually looks like for each of the areas of your life to be, um, for you to embody your most loved self in each area. And the first place that I'm starting, and the first place that I feel like my story started to shift was figuring out what my vision was for my life.
Mm.
So when I was trying to only heal pain, I kind of was circling around pain. And I remember um, there was a season in the beginning of working with you where you had asked me, like, what's a day in the life of where you want to go and what you want to be. And I've told you this year that that vision that you and I had written out together is one that I live now, and still in my sensitive body with dysregulation that still of course happens, but crafting that vision with you is a part of why I'm here today. So that's what we're kind of doing today. So, yeah.
I love that. It's so important that when we have lived a life that was predominantly unsafe, that what occurs is our nervous system just doesn't know that that unsafe life is actually not here anymore. And so it keeps us living a smaller life than we feel
Right.
called to. Not
Yeah.
and not because it's trying to punish us, but because it thinks the only options are us to experience the exquisite pain we felt in the past, or to keep us stuck in this prison that only we reside inside of. And that prison
Right.
becomes our refuge. That prison becomes the place our nervous system tucks us away to ensure we never have to feel those painful things of the past. And so it's equally important to address our parts and do all of the work, and also really open up to the possibility of, hey, there's a window in this prison and we can look out.
Mhm.
And what's out there for us? That
Mhm.
universe, divine, God, mystery, whatever has called us to, and that's waiting for us. And the more that we can see it and we can feel it, the more that it becomes an internal thread that then allows us to get out of that prison and walk into it.
Yeah, totally. It's so funny because I work with mostly creatives. I would identify, I mean, we're all creative, of course, but as a highly sensitive creative. Um, and that same imagination that tormented me really for so long came from my creative self. It's like I believed everything that I thought, and it was such a vivid imagination that I had, but it was working to keep me small and to keep me safe.
Yeah.
But it was that same imagination that allowed me to begin to imagine something different for myself, and that's what I want to help people do, and that's what you also help people do.
Mm.
So, I would love to start with there's nothing like getting the basics of the nervous system from Sarah Baldwin.
Mm.
you I feel like you have to be tired of talking about it by now, right?
It's so funny you said that. I just have right before this was running a program, a brand new program with folks all around the world. It's called Navigating Your Nervous System, so it's really about the nervous system. And
Yeah.
as I talk about it, uh, it always brings tears to my eyes.
It's
Like,
I make
like
yeah.
every single time, even now. I just talked about it earlier. I've talked about it to probably 20, 30,000 people at this time, at this point in my career. I've talked about it that many times. And every time I am so blown away by this system inside of us that, I said this earlier today on the mic, on this call. I write poetry. I've been a poet my whole life, and so I love poetry. And when I read Stephen Porges's book, and if this is funny for anyone who's read it, because it's the most dense, dry, it could
I
probably put you to
tried and I
sleep.
couldn't.
But when I read it, it brought tears to my eyes, because
Mm,
what I was reading was like the most beautiful Rumi. Rumi is a wonderful poet on love.
right.
It was like the most beautiful love poem to me. And as I read it, as somebody who spent most of my life feeling like I was so broken, I had so much shame. I felt like something was so inherently wrong with me. I was weak. When I understood this, the neuroscience behind the nervous system, I was like, oh my God, There's been
Yeah.
a system inside of me that has been loving me every moment of my life. And I didn't
Mhm.
know it was in here. A system that is so unwavering in its love, it will never, ever stop working. That's how much it loves us. It will literally eat our own muscle tissue to keep us safe for survival instead of giving up. When humans have let us down, because every human lets us down, our nervous system never, ever has. It's like the love of the universe of God through the nervous system, really. It's
Yeah.
such exquisite love. It's your best friend you didn't know you had. It is devoted to us, and it only works for you, for no one else
Mhm.
but you. And so when
Mhm.
I learned about this system, it not only changed my life when I was like, I don't think I can hang in this life thing anymore because it's too
Right.
painful. Changed my life. It brought me into my calling, but
Mm.
I will never ever ever stop being in awe of it. I'll never get tired of talking about it. Just like I think a good love story, you should never get tired of
Oh, that's a
talking
good
about
point. You're
one of the
you're
loves
totally
of your
right.
life, you know? And to me, it's one of the loves of my life. So I will never get tired
Yeah.
of talking about it.
Yeah, which is probably so it's so much your purpose here too that like that's sort of a well that never runs dry also.
Yeah.
So do you think that you could explain? I always love to kind of get people's attention with a line that you said once about how the nervous system is responsible for how we feel in every single moment we've ever experienced.
Yeah.
Every moment? Every
Yeah.
single moment? Do you think you could explain basically what the nervous system is and how it protects us?
Yes. So I think of the nervous system. I use a lot of metaphors in describing this work because it's wildly complex, but it also can be distilled down simplistically. And I think of it like the vehicle no one taught us how to operate. So since we actually, even
Mm.
before you came out of your mother's womb, this vehicle has been moving. And so imagine if a vehicle is moving, somebody has to drive it. And so if I'm not in the driver's seat of this vehicle, someone has to be. And so what
Mhm.
occurs is it's like we get put in the back seat of the vehicle and our nervous systems take over on cruise control, which is really cool to follow my metaphor. And now we have self-driving cars in LA and other
I
places.
know,
So it
I
works
know.
perfectly.
It's so wild.
Yeah, it's wild. It's like a Waymo car driving you.
Mhm.
If you're not driving it, someone has to drive it. And that means it's driving us. And the nervous system has one primary job, and that's to keep you alive. That's it. And it's evolved for 500 million years to do that. Every mammal on the planet has this system. And if it has to choose between the life we want or our survival, hands down, every time it's going to choose our survival. Now, a few things to understand about this vehicle. It creates your entire lived experience, as you just said. Now, it has 7 members of this team or this vehicle. And
Mhm.
the first member is called neuroception. It lives in your brainstem. And this is your threat detector. Your threat detector every millisecond of your life. So this is where the love story begins. Every millisecond of your life. So there's 1,000 milliseconds in a second, which means this is very fast. It looks out into the world and it says, is that safe, dangerous, or life threatening? Is Sarah's voice safe, dangerous, or life threatening? Is 1:16 p.m. safe, dangerous, or life threatening? Is Courtney's voice safe, dangerous, or life
Mm.
threatening? Is the distance between their eyes safe, dangerous, or life threatening? Is that tree safe, dangerous, or life threatening? It takes in everything. It also looks in your body. That's called interoception. Is that sensation safe, dangerous, or life threatening? Is that tension safe, dangerous, or life threatening? Oh no, I'm going to have a panic attack because I had panic attacks before, and so on and so forth. How it decides if something is safe, dangerous, or life threatening is that it has a beautiful internal database that lives in your midbrain. And the database has every lived experience inside of it you've ever had. That means the good things, the miraculous things, the beautiful things, the hard things, the scary things, and the traumatizing things that aren't resolved. And so what occurs is the threat detector looks out externally, or in your body at your present experience. And the way it decides if something is safe or not is by looking to the database. Now, it
Mhm.
doesn't need identical matches. It just needs flavorings of similarity. So for example, I look at this tree outside my window. My threat detector says, green, beautiful tree. What do we have on that? Looks to my database. My childhood was very dangerous and my home was a very, very unsafe place. And I grew up in a very rural part of New Hampshire in the mountains. So the only safety I found was in the woods. So when
Mhm.
my threat detector sees spiders, it gets excited, safe, because that's in the woods. When it sees things that people think are gross, like slugs or dirt or mud or trees, everything in nature, it says that's really safe because that's where I found refuge. So when I look at a tree, my threat detector says that's safe. And in a millisecond, as a result of looking to the database, it looks to all those past experiences, it decides that. And then the result is it brings me into what's called my ventral vagal complex, or my state of safety, regulation. That is the thing that every human being on the earth wants, and they don't know it.
Yeah.
That's the thing. We think we want this
Yeah.
career. We think we want this record deal. We think we want the family and the kids. Like, yeah, we want those things. But I've worked with a lot of people who have all the things. They have the kids,
Yeah.
they have the spouse, they have the career, they have the money, they have the house, and they are so miserable. And then
Mhm.
they have shame about being miserable. And that's simply because
Mm.
the foundation of a happy life is that you're experiencing it from this place in your nervous system called your ventral vagal complex, or state of regulation.
Mhm.
And that's where joy, happiness, abundance, curiosity, play, aliveness, love all lives in this place.
Mhm.
Now, I think of it this way, that there are 6 worlds or states within our nervous system. And when I
Mhm.
say a world, I really want you to think about it like a planet. Like, that is a whole entire experience.
Right, with
So,
all kinds of different,
yes.
yeah, things, yeah.
And ventral is like the magical sparkle planet. When you're there, everything is amazing. You're welcomed by the planet, and the planet's saying, you belong. You're just like everybody else. We are all together. We belong. You should be big, be bigger, shine brighter. Oh my gosh, there's so much
Yeah.
space for you. Yes, more you. Oh yeah, I love that. Open up more. We want to be together. We want to connect. Oh, there's so many beautiful things. That's what the planet ventral is. It's essentially, I think it is really a big part of what heaven is. This
Mm,
full
mhm.
aliveness of, I am all things at the same time. We are all interconnected. We are in flow here. Like, this is how you channel and
Mhm.
serve in your purpose. All of it happens in that planet ventral. But we also have, as I said, there's 6 states. And there's 4 main ones. So 4 main planets. Ventral's one. But then we have these 3 planets of self-protection or dysregulation. And we go there. Remember, the only way to go there is when that threat detector says, or the threat detector rather, is the deciding factor on what planet you go to. So if it
Mhm.
looks out and it sees something that's dangerous, it's going to put us in something called our sympathetic nervous system. Think of that like the fiery planet. There's like lava there, and there's like monsters that pop out in front of you, and you're like, where did you just come from? Oh my God, it's so scary. And there's dragons, and there's definitely like barely any food, and it's really overwhelming and loud. There's strobe lights. It's just like not a place you love to.
Strobe lights,
It's a
yes.
lot. Everything that's a lot. If you could think of whatever's a lot to you, that's what that is.
Yes.
And often referred to
People
as
that
fight
yell
or
at you.
flight. Yeah. And so
Yeah.
here's the thing about our nervous system. It, whatever it needed to do in the past to keep you safe, it's going to do the same thing now, because that made you make it out of that experience. So let's say when you were a kid, your house wasn't very safe. Now, you might have had loving parents, but they couldn't emotionally attune with you. You were neglected. They were shut down. So what you learned to do was achieve. Because if you were a high achiever, that meant that you got love from teachers. You never had to be in your house, and you didn't have to be
Mm.
present to what was occurring. So you use your sympathetic nervous system to always be on the go. I'm always
Mhm.
on the go. I'm always on the go. So guess what
Mhm.
happens? Your threat detector, here's an example of this. It looks to your adult house, really different than your childhood house, but
Mm.
it's a house nonetheless. It
Mhm.
looks to your family, your current nucleus family with your children and your partner who you love. Very different than what was like in your childhood, but they're your family nonetheless. And
Mhm.
so it says, well, if this is what family was in the past, then I don't want to be in this house presently, because houses and families remind me of sadness and disconnection and being all by myself. And
Right.
so what occurs is your nervous system says, well, in the past, what did we do to be safe? We mobilized. So let's do that now. Let's never be at the house. And we take our kids on incessant like field trips and doing things all the time, because I cannot be in this house. I cannot be in this house. I don't want to be in this house.
Right.
And that is all the threat detector working, superimposing the
Yes.
past onto the present. The thing about that you alluded to at the beginning about each of these planets or these states, they create your whole lived experience,
Yes.
entire experience. So what that means is what planet or state you're in, it creates your feelings. Every feeling you ever have is a result of what's going on in your nervous system, what planet you're on. Every sensation in your body is a result of what state you're in. Every thought you have, so everything you've ever thought is a result of what state you're in. This one always floors me. Every behavior. That means everything, everyone listening, everything you have ever done or inhibited, not done, is
Yeah.
a result of what state you're in your nervous system. And
Yeah.
we think we are driving our life. But if you aren't in regulation, the place I went to when I looked at the tree, you are not in the driver's seat. Your nervous system is driving the vehicle. So all the behaviors that
Yeah.
you do, like you've ever said something, I'm laughing because we all do this with your partner, maybe, because that's where childhood stuff shows up the most. And you say something that's not so nice. And then you're like, I
Yeah.
can't believe I did that. I can't believe I did that. Or I can't believe it later. You think, I can't believe I did it. Or I can't
Yeah.
believe I said it. Well, that's because your nervous system took over and it didn't
Yeah.
see your loving partner. It was projecting your childhood onto your partner. And so
Yeah.
now I'm saying the things I never could say to my parents, like, you don't care about me, or I don't even want to be around you, or whatever it might be. That's your nervous system hijacking you. So it creates our behaviors. It
Yeah.
creates our perception of ourselves, others, and the world around us. That means how you experience you, how you experience other people, how you experience the world. It will be your reality is different based on what planet you are on or
Yes.
what state you're in. And so if you don't know all of this, then that means that we're not driving our lives. Our nervous system is.
Yeah.
And the
Yeah.
past is being superimposed on the present. And we think it's actually about today, but we're actually not on planet Ventral or planet Heaven. We're on
Yeah.
these other planets. And usually that means we're in the past. We're not actually
Yes.
responding to what's happening today.
Yeah.
It's really, there's nothing more fundamental to understand than this work.
Gosh,
And then
it's
just
so
really
true.
quickly, lastly, these other two states. So we have that sympathetic state, and then we have this state called our dorsal vagal complex. Think of this like it is a dark abyss. There's no
Yeah.
sound. Everything is cold. It's lifeless here. And this is our state of immobilization or shutdown. So instead of that sympathetic, which is always about moving, going, anxiety, I'll go back to sympathetic for a second. Anxiety, worry, frustration, fear, terror, rage. We were always on the go. We can't seem to slow down. On your weekend, it's like a Saturday and you're like, I'm going to have a relaxing day. You still wake up at 7 and go to Pilates. And then after that, you go to have coffee with a friend because you should connect with people. And then after that, you go to the farmer's market because you should eat healthy. And then after that, we have a play date. And then after that, we clean the kitchen. And after that, we do all the things. And then you're like, all right, isn't this nice? It's a relaxing day. That's not a relaxing day. That's a day where you're controlling via your sympathetic system. Or I feel like I'm behind in life. I set a bar, I
Right.
get there, I raise the bar. Set the bar, raise the bar. Set the bar, raise the bar. Or I'm always agitated at my partner. They do nothing right. Everything about them needs to
Yeah.
change. All sympathetic, or I'm scared all the time. Now, dorsal is the opposite. It's shut down. So think of it like a bear hibernating. And when we're here, everything is about the shutting down. I feel apathetic, in a funk. I feel separate from everyone else. Like shame lives here. There's something wrong with me. I can't do this. I don't belong. I just want to curl under the covers. I can't even respond back to someone or speak. Simple tasks feel impossible. Like, how can I even unload the
Right.
dishwasher, do laundry? I'm so deeply shutting down. And that's
Mm.
a very different place in our nervous system. The thoughts are going to match it, and the
Yeah.
behaviors will match it. And then lastly, we have this planet state called freeze. And freeze is a combo of sympathetic and dorsal coming together. So this
Mm.
is, I have to, I can't. I have to, I can't. Oh my gosh, I really need to start as a creative. I really need to write that book. I've been, so behind. Why can't I just write that book? And I sit down to write the book and I think about millions of people reading the book and then I can't write the book. I need to go take a nap, but I need to write the book, but I can't take it.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, I'm going to go on Amazon and buy floss. I don't even need floss, but maybe if an apocalypse happens, I might need floss. And so I'm doing other things,
Yeah.
but I can't do the thing I want to do. And I go round and
Right.
round and round and it's in the back of my head, but I can't do it, but I need to do it, but I can't do it. Or in a relationship, I want you close. Once you get close, ew, you're gross and disgusting and pathetic. Ew, get away from me. And then when you
Yeah.
go away, wait, don't go away. Come back. And
Yeah.
then back and forth. That's all freeze.
Yeah.
And what I want people to know, I said this actually earlier on a call, as I named, I'm going to give an example of this, but it creates your whole experience. Each state. I worked with a woman years ago when I was just had an individual practice, and she was in her mid 60s. She was married for about 40 years. And when I did this work first with her of mapping her nervous system, and we went through all of this, we looked at what her reality was like on each state or in each planet. And when she was in dorsal, this is specific to her marriage, in dorsal, the thought she had about her marriage was, I married the wrong person and it's too late for me.
Oh, yeah. Gosh.
Oof, can you feel this? Isn't even my
Yeah.
story and it's heavy. I'm 65. I can't go back in time. I should never have married this person. I
Right.
knew better. It'll even tell you, it's
Oh,
so good at convincing you of the truth. Like you knew
totally.
better. Do you remember on the wedding day when you had that pit in your stomach? It's because it was wrong. Can you
Yeah.
hear that? Everyone listening, can you?
So
Oof, that's
common.
good. That'll get
I
you.
know. Yep.
And the pit in her stomach, well, you'll hear the rest of the story, but likely is that when you finally get the thing that you wanted, it will not feel good. It's going to feel terrifying and
Absolutely.
scary and counterintuitive. So you
Absolutely.
get safe love for the first time, expect yourself to feel like you want to run away. You're going to have intuition, which is not intuition, protective
Totally.
system telling you this is wrong. So that was her story. And guess
Yeah.
what? The behaviors matched, which means she shut down, would numb herself with food, would just go to bed, would push her husband away,
See all his flaws.
see all his flaws. So
Yeah.
here was her story when she was in sympathetic. This was a fight response in sympathetic. So this was when she's having an argument with him. And here's what I want to in case anyone's with children or you're in public. I think it's fine in public with your kids. Maybe mute this for a second. I'm about to swear. This woman does not swear in her daily life. So this is what's interesting about this, that when she's in her adult self, it's not language she uses, not that that's wrong or right, but she couldn't believe it because most of us don't even realize the thoughts coming in. And so she said, oh my gosh,
Right.
when we're in an argument and I'm in sympathetic, do you know what I say? She goes, in my head, I say, fuck Frank. I
Yeah.
hate him. And fuck that guy. And she's like, and then I'm taking the laundry basket and I'm slamming it down and
Yes.
I'm saying,
Yes.
fuck him. We had the grandkid's birthday the other day and I did everything. What do? He sat on the couch laughing. That's not funny. You're so
Yeah.
selfish and you're so annoying. And I raised the kids and I did everything. And I hate you. I hate you, Frank.
Yeah.
And she was like, and you
Yeah.
know what's funny? It then creates these behaviors where then I like snap at him
Right.
and then I'm like really rude or I say something cutting to him because it's creating everybody again, the whole experience. And here's what I want everybody to know. I want to finish this, but the way this works is with, for example, with romantic relationship, but this goes with your purpose too, is that your nervous system superimposes the past on the present. And it's saying, hey, what does this remind me most of? And whatever that is, that's what it's going to superimpose onto your purpose, onto your partner, onto your kids, onto everything. So what was really happening is she had a lot of anger at her dad that wasn't able to actually be expressed as a kid. But Frank was
Hmm.
a safer guy, imperfect guy. He got
Sure.
frustrated and they got angry sometimes, but definitely safer. So her nervous system knew that. And it was saying, well, the things I couldn't say to my dad when I was 13 and he was so awful to me, I'm going to say to you now.
Yeah.
And that's what was happening. Now, in
Yeah.
freeze, this is such a freeze thing. Freeze is all about being stuck. Her story was, I need to leave this marriage now, but I won't be able to take care of myself because I haven't
Yeah.
worked. I raised all the kids. I'm not going to be able to support myself. So what do I do? And I'm bind. I have to leave and I can't.
Yeah.
And then here's the kicker. When she was in regulation, this was her story about Frank. She said with tears in her eyes, she said, it's not easy, but I'm so glad to be going through life with Frank. And it's been a journey. And I will tell you, there's some relationships with some people, maybe it could have been easier with someone else, but I'm glad it's not someone else. I'm
Yeah.
glad it's him.
Yes.
And he holds a mirror up to things that are not yet resolved for me. And that's painful and hard, but it's also my invitation into my,
Yeah.
and I am so grateful for that. And I'm
Yes.
grateful for him. And
Yeah.
my point in sharing that is because, as everyone can see here, those are four different realities.
Totally.
And the
Yeah.
only reality that is yours today in 2025 is the one in regulation.
Hmm.
The other realities are true to a part of you, but
Yeah.
they're true to a part of you in the past. like a child
Yeah.
part of you. And that past experience is being superimposed into your adult life. And so most people don't know this is happening. And that means that they avoid things that are for them, like their calling on their life.
Yes. Yeah.
And they stay in things that are wrong for them. And they
Yeah.
leave things that are really right for them, all
Yes.
because they are not unable to understand how this nervous system functions, and they don't know what it's like to feel their adult self's truth. And when you can learn this work, what happens is my job is to teach people about the vehicle and then teach you how to get into the driver's seat. So you
Yeah.
can actually be the one that's driving your life. And that's how you live the life you are here to live. That's how you live an empowered life. And it's available for every single one of us.
Hmm. Ugh. Yes. I heard myself in that story 57 times.
Yeah.
All of it. I remember even, I think it maybe was our like 2019. I had things that I had done, or behaviors that I had that I couldn't even understand, and I had so much shame about. And I remember that was like the first thing that came pouring out of me in our meeting together was, I'm like, and this thing that happened, I'm like, I just feel so bad and blah, blah, blah. And you were like very quietly like, it sounds like you found a really brilliant way to survive.
Mm.
And I just remember that. I remember where I was sitting. I remember your face. I remember being like, oh, wow, this is it. This is like the healing that I need, because I come from a context that's very behavior management, and so much about stopping the behaviors that aren't I that aren't whatever pleasing to God or
Yeah.
serving you or whatever, like really like white knuckling yourself into the best version of yourself. And if if anybody could have done it, man, I tried so hard. It was everything to me to be good. And it was to know that your nervous system controls your behavior, I feel like is such a uh, shame-free way to live. And it doesn't mean you're off the hook for your behavior. It means that the shame that keeps you from moving forward gets to melt so that you can look at what's causing it. Would you say?
Exactly. And when we can orient differently and say, if our nervous system's protecting us actively, it's like got swords out. Its job is to be like, bam, 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 bam. I got to get away all the things I think could be bad. And that means causing self sabotage in our lives, avoiding
Yeah,
love, avoiding our purpose, avoiding all the things that things could be dangerous. And what we tend to do is beat ourselves up. What's wrong with me? I'm so bad.
totally.
And
Yeah.
instead, if you can take the hand of your nervous system and say, oh, my love, this is the relationship work we're doing here. My love,
Yeah.
I look around in my life today in 2025 and it's safe. And if I'm dysregulated, it means my nervous system's not here in 2025. So my job is to say, oh, my love, I know that you don't know I'm safe right now. And so
Right.
let me show you that I'm safe so that you can rest and I can be free. Let me show
Yeah.
you that I am safe so you can rest and I can be free. And oh, protective part of me, because you can't do parts work without nervous system work. We look at the protective part that maybe avoided our loving relationship. Why? Because it's so afraid of us ever, ever, ever
Mm.
being exposed again like we were when we were little. What I want to just name this quickly, that most people struggle in some way relationally, and that then bleeds out to the rest of life. But your earliest childhood experiences, most parents could not get it right. And especially of our generation, nobody knew what to do. They
Yeah.
may have had loving
Totally.
parents, but they had their own trauma. They didn't know what to do. And when a baby, a young person comes into the world, there is experiences where they're 100% vulnerable, open,
Hmm.
and they are raising their hands, literally and metaphorically, to the adults, and they're saying, love me, pick me,
Hmm.
choose me. And do you know what it's often met with? No, not exactly like that. If you were
Hmm.
just different, if you spoke differently, if your body looked different, if you just got better grades, if you just weren't like that, why are you so emotional? Why are you so funny? Stop it. That's not good. We don't like that here. Or they
Hmm.
were not available because you opening was asking them to open and they didn't know how to do emotional intimacy. So what we learned, that is like an experience that is anti-human to not be met and attached
Right.
to as a baby.
Right.
Or you had an anxious or depressed mom, and that meant she couldn't attach to you. So or dad. So what happens is our system so beautifully says, oh, I don't want you to ever feel that again. So
Right.
right around our heart, we wall it off. This protective part shows up and says, I had a protective part that did this. It eventually said to me, I know the line where we could love people, friends, partner, even extended family. I know the line where we can love them. And right on the other side of that line, we never go. Because on this line, if I lost them, it would be hard, but it wouldn't mean annihilation.
Right.
So people can be married for 30 years and you never go beyond that line. I'm not going to let you beyond that
Yeah.
because when I was a precious little baby, I let them beyond the line and they couldn't
Yeah.
beat me and it felt like annihilation. And so we wall off our heart. And so then if you have done enough work and you attract someone in your life who is saying, hi, I choose you. The protected part's like, why? I adore
Yeah.
you. I
Ew.
want to give to you. I love you. And your protective part is saying they're very dangerous because they're
Yeah.
staying and they're seeing me and they're choosing me. And if I let them in to those parts, to that part of me, I might feel the same annihilation again if they leave. So my job is to not let you get in there. And so we do things like test them, push them away. We can't let in the intimacy with them. So then we fantasize about George Clooney. Maybe people don't fantasize about George Clooney anymore, but like when I was young, that was my thing. Uh,
I've
about
heard you say him a couple times too, so maybe he's your guy.
he's my guy. Well, my guy is my guy, but George Clooney was my
Right, right,
fantasy
right.
guy.
I hear it. Yeah.
And that is what our systems do. That's all ways to avoid being
Totally.
loved.
Keep you safe. Yeah.
And our nervous system and our part work together to make that happen. So how do I get
Yeah.
you away from me? And then we do things that we're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I did that. I can't believe I sabotaged them that way. And then we beat ourselves up over it.
Right.
And the same goes for anyone listening who is stuck around your calling in your life. You know, the cool thing is no one can take that from you. It's yours. It's waiting. And there's no expiration date on it. It's just waiting right there.
Right.
I've worked with tens of thousands of people around purpose, and it's the same thing every time. I think of it like God, universe dangles a carrot for us. It's like, wow, the universe has a big sense of humor. And it's also like, I love it and it annoys me. Like the loving parent. I'm like, you're an annoying parent. And I know
Yes,
you're
right.
loving me. What it does is it
Yeah.
dangles a carrot. That is your soul's callings, whatever they are. And let's say
Yeah.
around purpose, that's your soul calling. You think you can't put down? Now the thing
Won't
about
leave you
that,
alone.
yeah, it won't leave you alone. It'll follow you around. You can avoid it, la, 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 but it'll
Yeah.
keep following you. Now, the thing about this carrot is, in order to actualize this, you have to go through the healing process to get there.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
reason being is because this happens every time. I see it happen every time, is that the qualities that your purpose requires are things that were usually dangerous or inhibited in the past. So, for example, as a
Yeah.
creative person, what is it going to require? It's going to require you to take up space, to be big, to use your voice, to be
Mm-hmm.
seen, to be known, to be heard. Oh, to be judged. It's going to require you
Yeah.
to make mistakes. It's going to require you to be vulnerable. It's going to require you to ask people to come towards you, to say,
Yeah.
hey, here's my, like as a child, I'm going to do my talent show. And you
Look at me. Look
want,
at me.
the people to say, yay. But here's the deal. Most of or some of those things were likely dangerous or not available for you in the past.
Yeah.
So as you sit in the comfort of your own home, I used to say this, like on your couch with your robe on and your like night guard, and this is just what I do, probably not everyone else here. And then you have like blue blocking glasses on and a red light therapy from your own couch. Your nervous system will let you fantasize about your purpose all day
Oh
long.
my
Okay,
gosh.
and then this
Yeah.
will happen, and then that'll happen. And your nervous system's like, I don't know, let her fantasize because she's not moving from this couch today, so it's
Yeah.
fine. But the
Yeah.
moment you actually try to get into the vehicle's driver's seat of the nervous system and you take the steering wheel and you're like, we're going to drive down the road, guess what happens? Your nervous system
Yeah.
gets wind of it and it says, oh, my love, I don't know what you're doing. It pops you in the
Yeah.
back seat and it tries to veer you off that road. And all of a sudden, I
Yeah.
feel shut down, stuck, overwhelmed, anxious, blank, deer in headlights. And I think, what's wrong with me? Why can't I embody my purpose? Well, because
Yeah.
your purpose requires your greatest healing. And we have to
Yeah.
show, not tell your nervous system, oh, that thing that was once dangerous, it's actually safe now. Let me show you.
Yeah, right.
Tiny step at a time. Let me show you. Let me show you. And it starts to see, oh, maybe it is safe to be big. Maybe I won't
Yeah.
hurt people if I shine bright. Maybe there is room for me. Maybe I can desire something deeply. Maybe I don't have to try so hard. And all of this alchemization happens of the past, and through it you embody your healing, and through that you are a servant of God, universe, and you help the world heal. Isn't that a cool
Yeah.
orchestration how
Oh my
God
gosh. Oh,
universe has here? Like how
yes, and
smart.
it's so funny because I now that I've worked with a lot of artists and creatives, again, I will say the same imagination that is very science backed as a way to resolve trauma, which I wanted to talk to you about, is also the same thing that like will have you imagining the craziest things. And I remember I was the same way too, but I'll have people that are like, what if I get on Broadway and then I get a Tony and then it goes to my head and then I leave my kids and my husband? And I'm like, we haven't auditioned for the local theater yet.
Mhm,
And I remember that myself, like
mhm.
very extreme, especially because there's so many artist stories, so many movies, so many things about like the downfall of the artist. And I think what a lot of artists and creatives that I know tend to detour into something that they think is more service oriented or more a lot of artists that I've noticed are like, maybe actually I'm going to be a therapist,
Mhm.
because they start to like uncover what's going on with the reason why they're stuck in showing their art, and they get really excited about all the healing. And I think what feels safer to them, and it has to me as well, is being like, I but I don't think I need to actually go all the way with my art. I think it's going to be fulfilling enough for me to
Mhm.
share what I've learned and actually serve other people. I mean, it's like such a pattern now, especially now, because
Mhm.
anybody can be a life coach.
Mhm.
And it's like one of the one of the clever patterns that I've seen that I think our nervous system will be like, oh, this will still be good.
Yeah.
And this will be good enough. And I think it's like artists not trusting, like you just said, that the things that they are called to bring into the world will heal just as much, if not more, because they're so authentic.
Yeah. Oh,
Does
of
that make
course.
sense?
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank God we all have different callings. What a
Yes.
boring world it would be if everyone had the same. I was
Yeah.
thinking about not long ago. I was listening to some. It was Alan Watts, and then who was it? Forest East, I think. Um,
Mm.
him doing like some music, like electronic music overlaid. And I was walking down the street, and I was like, the universe came through both of them at very different
Mm.
times, points in time. And somehow, well, Forrest East was influenced by him, obviously, and said, I'm going to create an album that has some overlay of his, his voice. And I'm going to create this music that so perfectly complements it and helps people come into the felt sense. And it came to me. I heard it for the first time on a walk, and I really needed it. And how that message came to me at exactly the right time that I needed it to open up something for me that needed to be open. And this
Mhm.
is how it all works. This beautiful, intricate plan that the universe has. That you
Mm.
might pick
Mhm.
up a book that was written
Yeah.
10 years ago and you pick it up today and it's exactly what you needed. The service that came through that person.
Yes.
And here's the thing about creativity, all you have to do is open your aperture. So meaning, what I
Mm.
mean by that is when artists try too hard, you, once when I was in, talking to God, God said to me, I mean, it's nice that like what you can do is nice. And I think it's funny, nice that humans think that that they're going to create this thing, on their own. And then, and then God was like, and it's so funny how you're so concerned about all these collaborations and these things you have to do. Do you know I'm your only collaborator? I am your only collaborator. Don't
Oof.
forget that. You don't have to go to all these networking things
Makes
and
me
think you
cry.
have to say yes to everything. I am your collaborator. And all you have to do is come back to me. And when you open the aperture of yourself, and this is what faith really is, as a creative, this is what faith is. When
Yes,
you allow
absolutely.
me to flow through you, I will dance you. I have given you every gift that you need to fulfill the purpose that I gave you. You have all of the gifts, and here's what I need you to do. I need you to continue to heal. I need you to practice your gifts, and then I need you to commune with me and open
Mm,
bigger and open bigger. And it gave me this image of what it was trying to birth through me was this big, big, big thing. And then it showed my little human body, and it said, what I have for you can't be birthed through your body. And
yeah.
so I will wait until you open because it has to be birthed through the connectivity of all things. It has to
Gosh,
be birthed
so
through me.
good.
And all you need to do, and the funniest thing, I was like, all I need to do, because I know how hard this is. And it's
It's
like, yes,
easy.
I know, but all you need
It's
to
easy, babe.
do is devote to your healing, is to continue to, creativity is one of the most spiritual practices. Once your
Amen.
creativity is about performance, it's not creativity anymore.
Hmm.
Creativity is about communing with the mystery of all things, which you can call God, universe, divine. It's about allowing that mystery to flow through you to
Hmm.
others. And the
Hmm.
beautiful thing is, like, we get the best gift of the experience of it flowing through us. And then the big gift becomes even bigger when you give it to others. And this is why a lot of like fine artists, a lot of the time, or even actors like Daniel Day-Lewis, never went to an awards ceremony.
Oh,
Why? Because he, or not, obviously I would probably go to the award ceremony, nothing wrong with that, but he or fine
right,
artists who don't go to their openings say,
right.
oh, that's for everyone else now. I already did the communing. Like, I
Yeah,
already had the experience. The experience
yeah.
was how creativity danced through my hand as I painted. Creativity danced through me as I wrote this
So
book.
good.
And the moment you try to write the book, it's not the book. The moment
Yeah,
you try to sing the song, it's not the song or write the
yeah,
song. But if you let yourself be danced, that's where the magic happens. And
yeah.
trusting the moments where it wants to dance through you and the moments where it's saying, go play. I'm not dancing through you today because I want you to go love your husband, your wife, or your friend, or hug your kid, or go eat
Yeah,
something nice, go to the ocean.
yeah,
Today is not the day.
yeah.
And this is what it's like to be in creativity. And the only way to do that is when you're in regulation. That's why this work is so inherently important. How could I
Mm,
possibly do that if I think I'm running from a grizzly bear? When you're dysregulated, that's what your
right.
nervous system thinks is happening.
Yes,
No
it's true.
way. So this
Yeah,
work is imperative in
yeah.
terms of living our full life and embodying our purpose.
You know, I was listening to a podcast the other day. My little sister and I were listening to it together, and I'm like, I'm gonna listen to this. It was one of your podcasts. It was You have a beautiful podcast called You Make Sense, and you really explain everything. Anyone I've ever sent that podcast to, their mind is like completely blown.
Mm,
But I picked one called something about protector parts. And I'm listening to it thinking like, I'm just going to get in the headspace of this interview that I have with Sarah. I was like, oh shit. Like it's almost like the more you heal, the more these self-like parts
oh
are
yeah.
like a little even trickier to find. And so, right? Because I mean, it was very clear to me that I was like, it felt like there was a giant sitting on my chest 5 or 6 years ago. And I felt like I had no power to get this giant off my chest. Obviously, it was just my nervous system protecting me. But at this point, I feel so much more free and mobilized and connected to other people. And I'm listening to this podcast and I'm like, even still, there are these protective parts of me that are guiding my life because they're a little afraid of what will happen if it
Mhm.
doesn't turn out the way they want. So, can you explain the idea of protector parts? And I think specifically for creatives, the one that comes up the most is procrastination,
Yeah.
the procrastinator. So, what is a protective part?
Hmm. Well, I just want to say, I do this professionally, and I have self-like parts that get
Yeah.
me, so,
Yeah.
and I have to be so aware of. So I'm just want to name like the normalcy of the fine. We have to become a fine-tuned instrument that we so deeply understand us versus a self-protective part, self-like part, which I'll get to right now. So just a really quick overview of parts work. Parts existed before Dick Schwartz existed. He's incredible, creator of IFS, but just know
Right.
this existed since humans have been around. You come
Yes.
into the world, this is going to be just a very quick overview. You come into the world as one whole being. Here you are as my fist. Okay. Now, unless you had pre or perinatal trauma, which a lot of us did, your
Yeah.
mother's nervous system totally affected yours. So this may have happened when you were in vitro already. Over the course of time, we experience traumas, or essentially that means anything that overwhelms your system's capacity to process what's occurring in the face of helplessness. And there
Hmm.
wasn't a safe other to help us process it. So even if you had loving parents, again, nobody taught them how to parent. So let's
Sure.
say that when I was 5, there was a death in the family, and my parents didn't help me to process that. And I became terrified. I couldn't make sense of it. And I became terrified of the concept of dying and maybe I'm going to lose my parents. That 5-year-old becomes fragmented off of
Yeah.
you. They're connected to you via a rope, but they are trapped there. And then
Yeah.
maybe we have, an even younger part, a 3-year-old who was not attached to properly. So for them, love does not feel safe and they're afraid they're going to get abandoned. And then we have a middle school you that was bullied and no one helped you process that. And so we have a
Mm.
13-year-old that feels othered, like they are different, less than, not worthy, not enough. And we have many other
Mm.
parts. So the way this works with our nervous system is a brilliant, brilliant thing that happens is all those vulnerable parts, if no one was able to protect them, we develop internal protectors. So let's go
Hmm.
to the middle school part, the part that was bullied. So that part learns as I am is not good and not enough.
Mm.
And so the protector develops and says, well, if I can be perfect, then what can happen is I can assure myself that I will never have to feel this kind of pain again. So I can tort myself. I am constantly fixated on how I look. And if I don't look
Hmm.
perfect, I'm not going to be lovable or enough. And I also become a perfectionist where I have to get everything right. My house has to be a certain way, and my kids have to be a certain way, and my body has to look a certain way. Because if I'm not perfect, it's going to trigger that younger part who felt like they weren't enough. So we
Right.
have
Yeah.
so many internal protectors. Now, you said a procrastinator, right?
Hmm.
Okay. So let's say we had this, I'm going to go back very young to that 3-year-old who got the message that as they were was not enough. Maybe they were neglected. Okay.
Mm.
So they develop a protector that keeps them hidden and keeps them from being seen, being known, keeps them from others because they never want them to feel that kind of abandonment again. But
Hmm.
guess what comes along? Adult you. And you're like, I'm going to step into my purpose. What does your purpose require? It is going to require you to be open and say, hi, come towards me,
Hmm.
see
Yeah.
me,
Look
choose
what I'm
me.
doing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
love me, see me, choose me. And the protector comes in and is like, absolutely not. I don't
Yeah.
ever, ever, ever want this 3-year-old to have to feel the pain of not being chosen again. That was so bad. No way. Absolutely never.
Yeah.
So you go to try to get into the driver's seat and you're like, we're going to step into this purpose. And your nervous system, via the protective part, comes in and says, that is so cute of you. No, we are not. And it has
Right.
tricky ways. For example, here's what it might say to you, procrastinator. Life is really busy right now. And so it's not the time to think about
Yeah.
putting out your first album. Like, it's just not the time. You know what? When
Yeah.
things cool off, it's like kids get back to school and, then we'll focus on it. But guess what? The kids get back to school and then what do? Well, Halloween's coming up and then, it's the holidays. And so listen, I don't want to take away from them and I don't want to add stress to the family. And then the holidays are over and, well, we don't have the money because we just spend all the money at the holidays. So, you're just going to do this later. Or you have the free time and you're sitting down and you're like, okay, I'm going to focus today on doing this thing. And then all of a sudden the household stuff has to get done. If it doesn't
Right.
get done, the house is going to blow up. And that's
Very important.
absolutely has to. If I don't make this dentist appointment that's happening in 6 months right now, it's not going to be okay.
Yeah.
And that procrastinator will have a very good reason why you need to
Mhm.
avoid stepping towards the purpose. It's not ever going to say things that sound unreasonable. They're always
Right.
going to sound quite reasonable.
Always, always, always. Yes.
Here's the thing. If we wait for the day that it feels good to step into our purpose, you will wait forever.
Yeah.
Because your purpose is going to be emulate things that were dangerous or not available. And so the work
Yeah.
is that we must, couple things. Number one, we must anchor in that ventral place, that true us, finding any moment that brings us there and ask ourselves, what's true? Where am I being called to? And let yourself bring that to life. Bring it to life.
Yeah.
Marinate in it. I say marinate, meaning let it permeate you and you go back to it again and again and again and again until you are the steady sequoia tree that knows like it knows like it knows what already exists. You
Mm.
know who you are. The sequoia tree seedling doesn't, get planted and it's like, oh my God, what if I become a raccoon? It's like, doesn't do that. It's like, I'm going to be a sequoia tree. I already am. Doesn't worry.
Yeah.
But we do that. And then what do we also
Mhm.
do? We get planted and then we dance around the tree like, oh my gosh, is it going to be okay? You know what Mother Earth is saying? It's like, I don't know why you keep doing that. I'm going to take care of all this. So you could
Mhm.
go do other stuff right now instead of worrying. So
Mhm.
marinate, marinate, marinate. And then what we have to do is we have to take the hand of the vulnerable part that the protector is protecting, the one that was never loved fully, that was never seen. And we say, oh, my love, I choose you. I am so lucky you are my firstborn. You are the most important to me of
Mm.
all the beings. You are a precious jewel. How lucky am I that you're mine? How lucky am I?
Mhm.
You will always be most important to me. And protector. We do this from our adult selves. Protector, thank you.
Mhm.
Keeping them safe when I haven't been here. Thank you for procrastinating because your
Right.
procrastination is a clue that I'm not listening.
Right.
Thank
Ah,
you.
so good.
Thank you. Thank you for doing that for her or them or him. Thank you for keeping them safe. But I'm here now. This wise
Yeah.
being that I am. I will go to the ends of the earth to make sure that young part is okay. I
Yeah.
will protect them fiercely. I will listen to them. We will not go faster than they are ready. And then we get to know this protector because your protector didn't get a childhood. They're exhausted.
Right.
And we have to
Exhausted.
fall in love with them. Oh, my love, do you know that there are things about this purpose that are going to be fun for you?
Yeah.
How can
Right.
you be involved in this? There was one point with my protector, and I would be doing the work all the time. So, teen protector. And she was really mad. And it was like a Saturday night. I was like, we're going to sit down and do the work. And she said, I don't want to do that. I want to have a glass of wine and listen to Whitney Houston and dance. And the work in that moment was to have a glass of wine
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
play Whitney
Yeah.
Houston and dance. Because that
Yeah.
was me communing with that protector and saying,
Yeah.
yeah, the work is to play. That's the work.
Yeah.
That's the healing work with you. And so we build
Yeah.
a relationship with these parts. And then what I usually like to do is I imagine there's a one-way glass, like a detective glass. And on the other side is our purpose, let's say. And I like to show all of the people, or show the parts rather, that all of the people we are called to, they're our people. They're just like the vulnerable part and the protective part. And how the only people that are going to
Right.
come towards us are not like the people that hurt us. They're not like the people that were unkind. They're the people who feel so deeply seen by us because we see our parts. They're our community.
Yeah.
They're our tribe. They're our chosen family. And
Yeah.
we gently, gently show them this dream that exists inside of our soul that already is. And
Yeah.
today, take one tolerable step towards it. There is,
Yeah.
nobody's reading this book today. In fact, as your mother, parts, no one gets to read this book until I
Ooh.
choose. We could write the book and then
Yeah.
I decide no one reads it.
Yeah.
We could write this song and I decide that only our friends listen to it. I will not ever have
Mm.
you exposed to the world in a way that is not
Yeah.
safe again. So do you know what we're going to do today? We're going to let the universe, God, dance us. How Let's just
Mm.
open to the mystery of when I pick up
Mhm.
a pen to write a poem, what I ask, I call it finding me. What's in there that wants to be found?
Mhm.
There's nothing to
Mhm.
create, but what wants to be expressed through me. I get the gift of this communing. It's like
Yeah.
I think high creativity is like a form of prayer, communing. And so we shift that practice. But this is not about me being of sacrifice or serving everybody else. This is about me communing, and through it, this is how I help the world to heal in the way
Yeah.
that I am called to help the world to heal. And a lot of creatives are very empathic and intuitive, which is why you might get stuck in this route of like, I'm going to help others. It's sort of like becoming the perpetual student.
Yeah.
And so what we want to look at is, do I feel fully fulfilled in that, or is there a part of me that's hiding?
Right.
And
Yeah.
there's no like clear answer. What I mean by that is black or white. Like it might be, wow, I love this work, and I'm
Yeah. Very
simultaneously
soothing.
going to be writing this book, or I'm simultaneously going to be creating
Right.
this music. So I don't want people to think it's black or white, one or the other. Maybe both.
Yeah. Right.
But
Right.
your creativity needs to be fed. Creative
Mm.
people, if you aren't creative, I have a writing coach I work with every week, and
Mm.
uh, if I'm not, the reason I do that is because if I'm not feeding myself in my writing, I am not fully alive. It's like I'm
Yeah.
starving.
Yeah.
And if you resonate with that, that's a clue that universe God has called you to be a creative being. And you
Yeah.
have to feed that. And then through
Mhm.
feeding it, don't worry, it'll tell you when it's time to give it to the world.
Yeah.
When your parts are ready and when it is ready, all at the right
Yeah.
time. And this work, you can't separate this work from your life's calling. Like this is the work that gets you to your life's calling.
Exactly. Yeah, and I feel like it opens up over time. I don't want to keep you for too much longer, but it really does open up over time in a way that I'm sure you've explained to me that I have a hard time even explaining. Like you get to a point where like, do are all of my goals and dreams fulfilled at this moment? No, but it's so fun to just be building it a little bit at a time, and I feel so safe in the meantime that it's like I can see how like things are expanding more and more and more.
For me, I'm doing this work. Once you get the formula of how it all works, you're
Yes,
always
that's
doing the work.
exactly
And
it.
here's the coolest
Yeah.
thing. So I know the rodeo. The rodeo is you reach a point where you are in this expression of self and in this service in life. And then guess what happens? The universe, your parts, God, all orchestrate together, your highest self, and say, time for the next iteration. And you know what that means? It means
Yeah.
going into the dark and going
Yep.
into stuff that's scary.
Yep.
And if you know the rodeo, then you know when you
Right.
go into that, the other side is a bigger, fully expressed version of you. I am
Yeah.
always doing that in my romantic relationship because there is
Yes.
more intimacy that's available. There is more love that can be received. There are more ways my protective parts try to either push my partner away or how is this not enough, all the things. So there's
Yeah.
more work for me to do there. In my life's calling, I do not have the capacity to hold the life I'll be living in the way I'll be serving a year from now or 5 years from now.
Right.
Every
Right.
new project that I hear inside that says, it's time, Sarah, that is going to require stretching of my nervous system and my parts. And what that means is
Yeah.
it's going to feel hard. It will be
Yeah.
scary. It will be overwhelming. It will feel, you might have sleepless nights. You might notice you have a
Yep.
lot more anxiety. You're like, oh my
Yep.
gosh, I'm so stressed all the time. Why am I sweating through my shirt? Blah. I want to throw up. I just really do. And then, let's say it means like speaking at a live event or something, and you're like, sign up. You're so excited. Guess what happens the week of? Dread.
Yeah.
Guess what happens when
Totally.
you get there at the hotel? You probably sleep 4 hours. And you're
Yeah.
like, what if I have an actual panic attack when I'm on that stage? Wow, what will I do? That will be so bad. Oh my God, that might happen. Wow. And then you're
Yeah.
regulating with your parts and you're doing all the work and you get on the stage and it goes well. And then you get off the stage and you're like, oh my gosh, I did it. Oh my gosh, I'm so tired. I need to sleep for 4 days. And then you go
Right.
home
Right.
and you are
Yeah.
exhausted and you sleep for 4 days. And guess what you did? You just expanded. That's what it looks like. And if
Yeah.
anyone here is waiting for the day where it just feels good,
When
which
you're
is
not
what your
triggered.
procrastinator part does, they're like, no, don't worry about it. When it's like you don't feel anxious and if you're not sleeping, that's not good. So definitely don't do it. No,
Yeah.
this is what it looks like to show, not tell your nervous system that the
Yeah.
next iteration of your aliveness is safe. We take its hand
Yeah.
and say, hey, let me show you. And once you understand the formula, you just keep going and expanding. And
Yeah.
it makes life really
Yeah.
exciting. Like, oh
Yeah.
my gosh, you can
Yeah,
have
it
more than a
does.
relationship. Like, this
Yeah.
can be, and hard work is no longer hopeless because there's a way
Yes.
through the hard work. And
Yeah.
hard work becomes rewarding now.
Yeah, yeah, totally. Oh, you said that so beautifully. I sent you a an email with a video from this show that I did with my friends, and you of all people know what it took to get to that point. And so I had wanted to share it with you. I emailed it to you, and what I said was like, there is a rock bottom. It feels like that I have been to. You certainly have shared about, and it's hell. It's horrible,
Mhm.
but there doesn't seem to be like a ceiling on how much love and purpose and connection you can experience in this life. And that includes moments of dysregulation, contraction moments of like that. And it was so freeing for me to hear you tell me that once. Maybe I hadn't considered it or something, but you were like, oh no, I get dysregulated like before I'm about to expand. I was like, what? Sarah? What?
Yeah,
It's just like such a relief to know that, like you said, that's the formula. That's the rodeo.
that's it. And the more that
Yeah.
we know and can expect it, the more,
Yeah.
and we have the ability to comfort the parts because
That's right.
these parts of us, first it starts out as that small prism that's like a painful prism, and then what happens is it becomes a beautiful prison the more work you do, but it's
Yeah.
a prison nonetheless. And these parts are like, why don't we just stay inside here? It's really nice and cozy, and we have
Right.
dogs and we have like friends, and this is like so great, let's just stay in here. And the job of a good parent is to say, oh my love, I know why you want to do that, but guess what, there's a magic world out there. It's
Yeah.
so magical. And I am going to slowly show it to you in the parts like, I don't know about that. And our job is not to say, and so we're going to be on Broadway tomorrow. That's too bad. Our job is to say,
Yeah.
do you want to go play in the front yard with me and look at clouds? And they're like, I
Yeah.
don't know if I want to. And you're like, clouds are so cool. Come on, let's go. And they might be like, but what if people walk by the street? I know that's scary, but I'm going to hold your hand and I'll be right here. And then someone walks by the street and they get scared and we hold their hand and they breathe and they see, oh, it's safe for someone to see me. And
Yeah.
the clouds are pretty cool. And then they say, that was kind of nice and scary. And then you just keep doing that
Right.
over and over until they, oh, this makes me really emotional. Until what happens is those little parts will run out the house and they say, it's playtime. And they just run out the front door, just like a
Yeah.
child is supposed to when they feel
Yes.
safe. And they
That's right.
say, oh my gosh, I'm so free now to be silly and to be me and to hug people and connect with people. It's so good to
Yeah.
be me. And we get to witness
Yeah.
them as they're our adult selves and say, and it's so good to watch you be that free. And it is so good to embody this life that is my life till this, that no one could ever possibly take away because it was called to you long before you had this body. As
Yeah.
a creative being, you are the alchemizer of pain in many ways.
Yes.
Creatives are healers. All creatives are healers.
Yeah. Amen. Right.
And your job is to take the message that wants to come through you, remember to be danced through you, and you remember, stop trying to play God. You could never do as good of a job. Just allow, 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 allow. And when you have
Yeah.
the two things that you show up and you practice and you get it, years ago, I remember the first time I did an Instagram live, I went into so much dysregulation. I don't remember what I said. Actually, it was before that, was Facebook.
Interesting.
Totally.
Yeah.
Deer in the headlights, don't know what I said, almost threw up, was like, that was so bad. And what did I do? I just kept doing it again and again and again and again and showed my parts it was safe.
And now.
And so to show up to a conversation, I don't like getting questions before and I don't like any preparation because I like to be
Mm.
danced. I don't like to
Yeah.
dance. I like to be danced.
Me
And
too.
so what I know is that whatever message is supposed to come through me, my job is to be present and regulate. What did I do right before this? I went in my backyard and felt the sun on my face and smelled the flower and said,
Mm.
what would you like them to know today? And that thing that some call God and some call mystery and some call divine, if you do that, it will dance through you. It will give the message that needs to be
Yeah.
given to somebody who might listen to this a year from now and really need to know what's actually true about them. And that's 25% me and 75% God. And how cool is that to just be like,
Ugh.
wow, I get to just be carried. And
Yeah.
and I think that that's what it means to live a creative life.
Yeah. So beautifully stated. Where can people find you? How can they be a part of all of the amazing things that you're doing?
Well, you could go to my
Just
website.
wiping tears from my eyes.
You go to my website, sarahbaldwincoaching.com, or my Instagram. I've got a lot of free resources there. And my handle is Sarah with an HB coaching, or my podcast, You Make Sense. All
Yeah,
of those wherever you
so good.
listen or watch.
So good. Well, thank you so much again for being here. What an honor to have you, and what a just a full circle moment, I guess. Just to I'm sharing you with my community, but you're so well known, and it's just an honor to have you here. So,
Mm,
thank you.
Thank you for having me, Courtney. Thank you for letting me support you on your journey. And I want to say for everyone listening that whatever place you are on the journey, that it is so very possible to get free and live the life that you are here to live. I know a lot of you listening have known Courtney and a lot of her story for a long time, and as somebody who supported her along the way, it is such an honor to witness your own becoming, Courtney, and the alchemization that you have been able to do, and through it, the ways you're able to help and heal the world. And that's what we're all here to do. So thank you for having me.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thanks, guys. See you next time.